nice thing is, just because we're all scared to fly, even if we have to fly, it doesn't mean innovation in aviation is going out the window. And it looks like progress is being made to increase the ability to have electric planes. Now, how fast will it be rolled out? I don't really feel we have a clear sense of when, but they are going to be taking a lot more steps to improve their record on pollution, and I think that's a great thing. Now, corollary to that, which it's not in the list, this does not mean don't wear your mask.
Wear the damn mask.
Wear the
Please.
Yeah.
Wash your damn hands.
Yeah, so second half of the century, if we want to see green aviation, for zero emission aviation, put on your mask so you can survive for the next, even 6 months. How about that? Just try it for 6 months.
I thought this was a fascinating article. And it brings up, and I'm not going to use the phrase that so many people in the media would use for this, but one of the interesting effects the pandemic's had is obviously it's killed air travel. Mm-hmm. So what all the airline companies right now are doing is retiring tons of old aircraft, getting rid of them.
Yeah.
And that opens up the possibilities that, while none exist right now for commercial aviation, that they will at least be looking at more efficient, more clean, possibly smaller, more regional aircraft, which electric aviation could fill that gap.
Right.
Yeah,
or hybrid was one of the technologies they discussed in there that I thought was pretty interesting, where you use a traditional method for takeoff, and then when you're gliding, it's on electric. That was a pretty interesting idea.
As well as running on battery on the ground. I mean, geez, just those engines. They use the engines to move around. Put motors in the wheels, shut the engines off. I mean, all you're doing is moving from point A to point B.
I do think interesting is that they don't really talk about the fact that most airlines, especially the big commercial ones, run based on economies of scale. And I do wonder, would it be in reach of the average consumer air travel the way how it has been if they do go to these smaller, more efficient planes? Because that means that they're either going to have to run more flights, which means more crews and more costs for that, or they're going to have to try and see how big they can build them to carry the same amount of passengers. And would that break the efficiency of the new airplane? So those are the questions I had at the end of the article. I'm not sure.
I fully agree with you, but at the same time, I get the feeling that we are trying to address the supply side only. Mm-hmm. To kick it 80 years, is this trip really necessary? And I think we're seeing a lot of technology right now where a lot of people are saying, you know what, I didn't need to go on that plane because we'll just Zoom, or we have Microsoft Teams, or we'll just Skype, or we'll use this, or we'll use that. And maybe the result of all this is the realization that people just don't need to fly so damn much.
It's true.
Yeah, and look at this show. We're all over the continent.
That's true.
Don't tell me. And the only reason we're all over the continent right now is that we're afraid to fly. Normally, before the pandemic, we would all fly into a central location and sit in front of different backdrops. I just want our listeners to know that.
I would like to see, actually, not so much the commercial, but cargo. If they could get cargo flights to be greener, I think, to me, this mostly talks about the commercial flight, but getting cargo flights to be greener, that would be huge, because that's a big number of our pollution is shipping things to and fro from all over the earth. And local businesses, local manufacture is one aspect of it, but getting cargo transit itself to be a greener monster would be wonderful.
And even then, make overnights, make air more expensive than it is. I'm sorry, but your Amazon's not going to be overnight. We're going to put it on a train, and we're going to find a better, more efficient way to get it to you, and it might be a few days.
Give that one a shot.
So
we're spoiled.
There's a reason why everything is trucked today, and the trains are not used for commercial deliveries at all.
Yeah. Right, but if we had a real carbon tax, that wouldn't just be a cost they could ignore. Then that would really drive them to find greener options.
Yeah.
Hurry up with those electric semis from all over the world.
Well, and with the logistics stuff Amazon's doing, I mean, they could have regional warehouses that they train stuff to the warehouse, and then they deliver the last 50 miles with an electric van.
Yeah. I watched a piece on using really large drones to airship stuff straight from China to the current U.S. ports. But
that's a huge battery to fly a drone over the Pacific.
Yes, it is. And they were talking using solar and like just different shaped, because like right now the cargo planes are just passenger planes with no seats, and so they were talking about using a lifting body, and I was like, well, more power to them if they get it to work, but it is out of the box thinking that we need to generate new solutions.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, any progress is good progress, so I'm going to take it as a win that we've got the retiring of the old planes, and I mean they're at least putting the money into development, and that's critical, because getting them to spend that cost for the R&D, that's a big step right there.
Yeah, I did some stuff looking all the way out, looking at battery technology and how it's expected to evolve. And by 2040, you can do coast to coast. By 2070, you can do international around the world, and that's just assuming a small increase annually. But if there's some big breakthrough, that game changer, that could really accelerate that timescale.